What is up, everybody? JD here. I hope you're doing well today. Got a new model in from Spearhead Knives that we're going to take a look at. Let's get it. All right, this is the Requiem, guys, and it is a very unique mini pocket knife. So you can go on the website and you can check to see. I looked just now and they're sold out, but it is really cool because they give you a couple of ways to build this to your own type of specification. This particular one here has the cross-cut purple haze carbon fiber on a titanium bolster, has zirconia thumb studs, pivot collar with a zirconium inlay, titanium backspacer that has a mother of pearl inlay. It does have a spot for a lanyard. A lot of folks out there talk about that. And it also has the matching titanium pocket clip. Now, when you go through the options, basically what you can do is you can change your onlay, your inlay, your pivot collar and thumb studs, and you can choose the type of pocket clip and backspacer that you want. The options are pretty much zirconium or zirconia, so those are the ones that you can choose from. The inlays, or onlays I should say, are a little bit different, and then there's two blade shapes on this M390 blade. So they have a clip point, and then they have this compound ground drop point. Both blades are M390. You have good access to the lock bar, very smooth action on here, very well tuned detent for the dual deployment methods that come on this particular one. Excellent thumb stud placement on here. And front flipper, it is a right hand only knife, so you only have the thumb stud opposite of the liner lock on this particular one, but like I said, it is tuned extremely well, and the jimping on that front flipper works very well too. I actually slammed that a little hard, so it popped out on me. It has remained centered since I have gotten it, very locked up, nice and solid. It does also have its own tool. It looks like this broke. I went to pick it up and it popped right out. Yeah, I think someone must have cut at something and then maybe accidentally hit that, or it could have split. So you can see this is the only tool. The only thing that I like to give feedback to companies if they ever watch any of my videos on this is when you do this, it would be a little bit more helpful if this was, instead of it being like its own tool, if it was a bit that you could put into a driver. I'm just checking to see if it goes on both sides. It does. That side was tight. This side was a little loose, but it's still showing centered, nice and solid. I'm wondering, what side did I say was loose? Was it this side? No, that side's tight. Maybe it was the show side one. Yeah, show side was a little bit loose. We are still centered. Yeah, and still nice and tight. I'll probably tape this up before it goes to the next reviewer just to keep it from falling out. Yeah, but it does come with its own tool. And like I said, my only little bit of feedback to makers when they want to do a proprietary tool system is just to go ahead and make it like a bit that you can stick into a bit driver, and that way you can kind of use that to remove it. I think it does make it kind of unique and different, but I think most people who are actually going to disassemble their knives to maintenance them, clean them, install skiffs, etc., they're probably going to prefer having it just be all T8 hardware, or at least T10 T8 hardware, but not anything smaller than T8. I know most people don't want that. The backspacer, full length backspacer on there, so it's not going to be a flow through construction. It does protect your hand from touching the tip of the blade, but it does make it a little bit of a challenge to clean. You're just going to want like a Q-tip or something like that that will reach down in there to clean out the lint every so often. But the compound grind on this M390 is very nice. It is very slicey, even with it being compound ground. It does have a nice pokey tip that is still going to be strong enough, I think, to be able to handle most tasks. For me, it's like a 3.5 finger, so I probably would just put a really thick, tight lanyard on the back there just to give the pinky a little bit of extra to grip onto. But ergonomics are really not that bad for being as small of a knife as this is. Wow, tighten that up did actually make that a really controlled close, which is impressive because it is a thicker blade stock for a knife this small. Normally when I see a knife this small, the blade stock is a little bit thinner. Not left-hand friendly, I apologize. I also didn't check to see if they make a left-hand variant. They very well may, but everything on here works really well. They did a good job with the lock bar access. I like the fact that it's a little bit thicker as well because it makes it comfortable in the hand. I feel like I have a good purchase on this, even though it is a little bit of a smaller knife. If I really squeeze up tight and I let my index finger hang over a little bit there, which does just clear that little sharpening tool that's on there, I can get a good 3.5 finger grip on there. So I'm hanging off the back, but I got half the pinky on there. So it does make this to where I can grip it. So if you have small or medium hands, you're probably going to really like this a lot. It is titanium on titanium. So this always trips me out a little bit. So you have titanium inlays. I'm sorry, you have titanium liners with a steel lock bar insert that is inserted here with the internal relief cut. And then they put the zirconium bolster with the, on this particular one, the fat carbon purple haze cross cut. And then they put the inlay on top of that. Always found that very interesting. It is a way to kind of be able to do that with really fancy materials. And I would say you could make this thinner by just having this be all one piece and then putting the carbon fiber and the zirconium in there. But then you can't have the the zirconium onlay with the zircotai inlay, mokatai inlay. I keep messing that up. I'm sorry. That is my fault, guys. But other than that, it is a cool little piece. Now, I keep talking about how small it is. Why don't we do some quick size comparisons just to show that for reference? All right, lining these up with the bolster, two of my most carried and used knives is going to be the Bodacious and the Bug Out. And as you can see, the Spearhead is much smaller than both of these. Let's do a couple more and then we'll grab the scale and check the weight on this one. All right, here it is against my Feeweed XL and my Drop Bear Zero. My Drop Bear Zero being one of my smaller knives in my collections. As you can see, the Spearhead is smaller than both. Let's grab the scale and check the weight on this little guy. All right, we got the scale out and it was cutting on as I set it down. I've really nicked this table up. The Spearhead comes in at 3.2 ounces by comparison to the Drop Bear Zero, which comes in at 3.4. So even though the Drop Bear Zero is a little bit bigger, it is barely heavier than the Spearhead. All right, final thoughts and impressions on the Requiem. Very impressive offering here for what you're getting. This is just north of 300, and they gave you a spec build, let's call it, meaning they're pre-selected options for you to pick the finish on your knife on, which I do like. Their knife size all tend to seem to be around this size, smaller than a Drop Bear, so kind of what I quantify as a mini knife, not quite a micro, but not big enough to be a small knife. To me, this is a mini. So if you like something this size, you like something that you can maybe potentially personalize your own so that you're not just getting a variant that everyone else has. You may have different finish options that you've chosen on yours. That's a really cool option for it. Build quality on here seems really good. They advertised the heat treat on the M390 to be 59 to 61, I think it was. Editor, you may have to put this one on the screen. I do apologize for that. So for me, a couple little things that hold me back. The size, one of them, but not a huge knockoff because some people like that size. The proprietary tool on here, and then, you know, I personally like the thickness, but some people might be put off by something being this small, being that thick on the handle. But I think the handle actually adds to the ergonomic presence for something being this small. For me on this particular one, I think I'm at an 8.2. I really like it. It's really cool in the way that they're going about how they're finishing it. This one for me, a little bit small, a little on the thick side, a lot on the heavy side for its size. I would have liked to have seen this be a sub 3-ounce knife for its size. Don't know if that's possible, but it would have been really cool if they could have made that happen. Let me know what you think about this one down in the comments below. I have no affiliate, but I will leave links so that you can go over and check Spearhead out. If you want to help the channel, though, if you're going to be doing any other shopping, using my links really helps the channel. You can also go to dailygearguide.store to check those out. Liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing are also fantastic ways to support the channel. Special shout out and thanks to my channel members. Love you guys. That's it for me today. I am out of here. Catch you on the next one. Goodbye.